welcome to my channel. If you are new, my name is Danisha, and welcome back if you are not new. Here on this channel we talk all things Marvel. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. I know WandaVision is over and done with for now, but the show was left on such an open-ended note that it's hard to just leave it at that, don't you think? So what's really next after WandaVision? Well, we know that after WandaVision is over with, essentially we're going to get Falcon and Winter Soldier coming in March. And then June, we're going to get Loki. And then after that, we're going to get movies like Black Widow, we're going to get Shang-Chi, we're going to get the Eternals, and most likely end off with both Venom and Spider-Man No Way Home. So we know what's next after WandaVision in the quite literal sense, but I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that this show was just a one and done. Was this show purposely made just to set up the events of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? I personally believe there's going to be a season 2. And here's why. So my first point that I want to address is, where's Vision? We all know that after that whole Vision versus Vision moment in the library, Vision's memories were essentially stored and he became the original Vision, or some form of Jarvis. I personally think he's maybe some form of Jarvis. I don't know if he's actually the real Vision, because if you guys watched my previous video, I mentioned and briefly talked about how when those memories were restored, that was just what it was, just memories. You know, he didn't have that same soul and those same feelings he had for Wanda when he first met her and their journey throughout the MCU. So it's really hard for me to believe that he is the true Vision that we've all come to know, and not just some form of Jarvis in an android body. But I feel like because he left and because he's out and about somewhere in the world, this is a good setup for season 2 and to essentially pick up where we left off in the previous season. Maybe we can go on a journey on what Vision has been up to. We ended off the last episode with the last post-credit scene with Wanda being somewhere in the outskirts of maybe Sokovia, maybe somewhere in Russia. I don't know. It looks like it's just somewhere in Europe. And she is trying to find her kids. So that brings me to my next point, which is Mephisto may or may not still be coming. I still think Mephisto is wrapped up all in this. Let me break it down like this. In the comic books, Mephisto was pretty much at one point Thanos' right hand man, or pretty much his assistant in the Infinity Saga storyline. So, you know, it's not much of a stretch to think that he may make an appearance or may be the big bad in the MCU. And the reason why I say that is because he was teased throughout the entire show. He wasn't physically a part of the show, but maybe he was some dark entity roaming in the shadows, because he is Marvel's version of the devil, in case you didn't know that. And he is also one of the dark entities in the Darkhold. Agatha, aka Agnes, was talking about her infamous husband Ralph. And the whole time throughout the entire season, we were all trying to figure out who this Ralph was. Was he the rabbit? Was he the freaking mailman that just randomly popped up? Or, you know, was he somebody else that could, you know, possibly come up? But we found out that Ralph was Quicksilver. It definitely threw me for a loop. Well, it was also very underwhelming as well, because we're like, wow, we were all expecting Mephisto to be revealed as this big bad evil villain, maybe the next person to pop up in the MCU, but he was just kind of treated as a one and done character, just like Quicksilver was in the show. I can accept that for now, but if we get a season 2, this could maybe be further explored. We could understand what the Darkhold is a little bit more, and why Wanda is wanting to learn all of the secrets, all of the dark magic, and if Mephisto was activated. When Wanda became the Scarlet Witch, Agatha explicitly said how you don't know what you've done. You don't know what you unleashed. Moving on to the next thing is, we don't really know who that missing person was. We never found out who the missing person was that Jimmy Woo was looking for in the very beginning of the season. I don't know if it was because of writing. Maybe they kind of just let that on the back burner. They just maybe wanted an excuse for Jimmy Woo to join the show and to be a part of this. I'm just gonna, you know, add that to the board of plot holes that the MCU have created over the past decade. And let's also talk about Monica Rambeau. At first I wasn't really sure like how her character would necessarily fit in the show and what correlation she had with the show, but I enjoyed her presence. I enjoyed that she was actually, like, I would say a very main character, a very pivotal part of the MCU going forward. I would hope to see a movie by her. I know she's going to appear again in Captain Marvel, and she may or may not appear in Secret Invasion. At one point she was in charge of the Avengers in the comics. So that just shows just how powerful and how monumental her character is, which is why I would love for her to get her own movie, like I said before. We also saw a post-credit scene where she was approached by a Skrull, and she talked about how he wants to see you. Now, he could either be Talos or he could be Nick Fury, because if you remember in Spider-Man Far From Home, at the end we found out that the person that was playing Nick Fury the entire movie was Talos, and Maria Hill was his wife. Moving on to Agnes's relationship with Wanda. Agatha specifically in the comic books, their relationship is up and down, I would say. Agatha is definitely a villain in the comic books, but I feel like Agatha was also a mentor figure to Wanda at some point. She understands her powers to some degree, and she wanted to help her control her powers. She wanted to help her hone in on her powers so she doesn't go destroying the world. But the way that Agatha goes about it is she essentially tries to wipe away all of Wanda's memories, because in the West Coast Avengers storyline where Wanda and Vision are together still, it is revealed that Billy and Tommy, her children, are pieces of Mephisto's soul, and they are soon absorbed back in. But because Wanda can't take that pain, Agatha did was, I guess she put a spell over her, and to make her pretty much, you know, erase her memories or try to suppress those memories as much as possible so she doesn't remember what happened to her kids or the fact that she even had kids. But eventually she was able to remember that, and she eventually destroyed, if not killed, Agatha in the comics because she felt like she betrayed her. And in that comic book storyline as well, if I'm not mistaken, Vision was destroyed. He was torn apart, similar to how he was in WandaVision, the show. But in the comic books, he came back as White Vision, but just like in the show, he didn't really have any recollection of who he was, his relationship to Wanda. So essentially by the end of the comic book series, they went their separate ways. Which brings me to my last point. Wanda and Vision moving forward. Will they actually meet up again? Like, I am curious to see, which is why I say, I go back to this once again, we may get a season 2. Season 2 may pick up where we left off. When Hex Vision was able to bring those memories back to White Vision, Hex Vision did not reveal to Wanda whether or not he was destroyed. I'm really curious to see if they explore that storyline a little bit further like they did in the comic books, because WandaVision was roughly modeled after the West Coast Avengers storyline and loosely after the House of M storyline. That is it. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think there's going to be a season 2? What do you think season 2 is going to be about? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Like I said, I cover all things Marvel, and stay tuned for my breakdown videos of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Also, while you guys are at it, make sure you follow my second Instagram page, Marveltastic 3000. And if you're not already following my main Instagram page, which is jolly_green_giant_, make sure you follow both of those. And without further ado, I will see you in my next video. Peace.